Okay, let me share with you when I still remember what's the reason there's a lot of people fail for the first time I teach P2P. In UC life, right, it's not like secondary school, okay? You do homework or not, right, what punish you is when the result come out, okay? When the result come out, right, then you will know lah, this is punishment or reward. In our adult life, right, we need to self-discipline before you decide you want to do that thing or not to do that thing. You need to think and consider what would be the negative outcome also, not just the benefit, okay? During that time, right, when I first become a peer tutor, right, in a classroom is around 25 students also. Like 7 students come. That's why communicate with those 7 students is very hard for me, okay? Even some students, I post what is important, right? Maybe they think I'm just, how should I say, I'm just a person who like to chat. In fact, I'm not that type of person. When I post something, right, it's most likely it's important. When I post a video, it's most likely important. I want you to know it lah, so that you don't do that type of mistake in the exam. And same to P2P. In P2P, right, I'm not just repeating the lecture content. You will find out most of the time, right, I would skip certain part and I focus on a certain part because that certain part is most likely coming out in your exam. When the marks already released, can you say, "Aiya, because I don't know that mistake ma." Do you think it can change the outcome or not? This is one question you need to ask yourself. By saying you don't know, by saying I don't know is that serious, by saying I don't know this is the rule, really cannot change anything. In our life, right, there is no second chance without any cost. Even if you retake the unit, right, you need to pay 3.5k of tuition fee, you know. First thing I want to comment about is a few students, right, didn't follow the naming convention, okay? I mean, like what the question asks you to do, okay? I don't know why some students go and name something weird, okay? Example, if the mid-semester test, right, give you a instruction, okay? Call your Java file as task1, okay? Call your Java file as task2.java, okay? Don't go and change the name, okay? Don't go and change the name. Say example, MST exam.java. Don't go and change the name, okay? Don't go and change the name MST exam.java, something like this. Follow back, okay? Follow back. So if somehow the lecturer is very bad, he can say you didn't submit, you didn't follow the instruction, I didn't see it, so I give you 0 mark. But I know lecturer would not be that evil but just follow the naming okay? Because if you don't follow the naming, right, first thing is you directly give the marker or the person who marked your exam a bad impression, okay? Just follow the naming. You don't want to trouble the marker. Validation, okay? Validation. When I check some of you guys code, right? Some of you guys didn't perform validation, okay? Didn't perform validation. The question tell you you need to validate it, okay? When you take in the input, you need to check if a negative number, right? A negative goals is entered. You need to record it as 0, okay? You need to record it as 0. Some of you guys didn't check this. I think most likely you will get penalized but you will see the marking rubric when it's finally released by the youth, okay? And then let's continue discuss what is the common mistake that students do. Now, say example, if you are the lecturer, okay? You are the lecturer who marking the exam, okay? Let me show you this code, okay? The class, first thing, if you are the lecturer, you will check is the class name capital letter? Okay, no problem. And one more thing, no number literal, okay? What do number literal mean? Okay, example, if your class, no matter your class or variable name, class variable names or function name or whatever, don't use number literal, okay? Instead of 1, right, type it out, O-N-E, okay, O-N-E. Change it, This first thing I want to mention. Please write it down in the piece of pen and paper. I said it already. Take out a piece of pen and paper if you haven't. No number literal, okay? No number literal. Listen this carefully. No number literal. This one is also mentioned in the, I think I mentioned in the Java coding standard also, if I didn't remember wrong. If you don't have spacing somewhere, right, it's even more worse. If like total go player 1 divided by player array.length, right, that makes very hard to read, okay? I would assume like this 1 divided by some number, okay? This is not a very good way to do a number literal. That's why I said, if you want, right, go and use O-N-E, okay? O-N-E. Change to O-N-E, okay? Spell it out. Spell it out. 1, 2, 3, okay? Don't use number literal. If you are the lecturer, right, may I ask you, are you satisfied with the code that I've written so far? Say example, this code is written by me, No global variable. What do global variable means? If you declare your variables outside your main, okay? This is, I know this will receive a very heavy penalty, okay? This code is global variable. If you do like this, I am pretty sure you will receive a very heavy penalty. What you should do is move all of this, right? Move all of this inside the main, okay? Inside the main. Spacing, okay? Line 25. One thing is your code need to be consistent, especially spacing and comment. So example, if the lecturer see your spacing, how come the spacing in here is got one spacing mistaken one? GG lor. And one more thing, there is students, right? There are students who declare this integer I outside here. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. You need to write in this format, You need to write in this format. Integer I is supposedly inside here, okay? Integer I. Not declare here, I say not, N-O-T. Not, okay? Not declare in here. If you are doing a for loop, right? The integer should be inside here, okay? Say example, if this is 5, right? How should we change it? If you want to change it, right? Don't put number 5 in here. Don't put number inside the array, okay? Don't declare like this. You declare like this, right? The marker is very allergic to this, I don't know why. What you should do is declare it as constant, okay? Declare as constant. The constant, right, is declared outside the main. Outside the main, I said outside the main. You didn't hear wrong. I said outside the main. How is the syntax of constant, The syntax of constant is like this. Public static final, okay? Final keyword. Public static final of. If you are doing a constant, right, one thing you need to remember is your variables or your constant, okay? Your constant name need to be capitalized, okay? So example, if I call this as max player, right? Hard-coded mean like you are making your array very rigid, especially in your next assignment. I'm pretty sure your next assignment, right, is reading from a file. When you're reading a file, right, you cannot open an array like array of size 100 because inside your text file, example, your text file got 5 entry only, or maybe 20 entry, 20 entry. But you go and declare the array of size 100 GGWP, I can tell you directly deduct mark. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. Hard-coded means not flexible. If you want a very short and concise meaning, I would say not flexible. If you are declaring a constant, right, if you want to separate a second word, right, if you want to second a separate word, use underscore, okay? Use underscore. So example, I declare max player is equal to 5, right? Then this is how you should do it, okay? Because lecturer doesn't like you direct put number in here, okay? Lecturer don't like you direct put number in here. Second thing, no number literal. No number literal, okay? The good part is if you check less than 0, right, you need to mention why you want to check less than 0. This one is a good thing, good job. Add a comment why you say, why you do this checking, okay? If you want to put things into array, you shouldn't do it inside the main, okay? You shouldn't do it inside a main, okay? Ideally, you need to group this process of filling or getting the input, right, into a submodule, okay? Into a submodule or method, okay? Submodule or method or a function, depend how you want to call it. But in Java, we are calling it as this method or submodule, okay? If I write this code, right, I didn't put it to a function, I can directly tell you, you will receive a very heavy penalty, okay? Very heavy penalty. I'm not joking. When the mark release, you will know. I noticed quite a few of students, right, okay, you are not using the code anymore. You go and do the commenting without removing it. Remove it. This is one thing I want to mention, okay? I think if like your variables name is about this long, right, I think feel okay. If average, right, average you can make it shorter, maybe AVG, if you want average. Brackets needs to line up, okay? Brackets need to line up. Don't go and do this. How many times I mentioned in P2P? Brackets need to line up. Brackets need to line up. Brackets need to line up. How come? So I feel very headache. And one more thing, this division, if there's any operator, you need to add a spacing, okay? Your spacing, okay? You need to space it, okay? You need to add spacing. Divide, multiplication, division, equal sign, except comma, if comma, right? The comma is doing like this. Example, if you have comma, right? Add a space at the behind, okay? Add a space at the behind of the comma. For example, comma is not done like this, Comma is not like this. If you are doing a comma, right? The comma is like this. You can use if statement, if you want to use if statement. I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you use switch, right, if you are using an IDE, right, switch will make your life so much easier to type. And if you are using an if statement, right, some students do something like this, I tell you. Some students go and add spacing inside the else. Don't need to add space, just do like this. Okay, just do like this. It's okay. No need to add spacing. Okay, no need to add space. And for the it's okay for this one. End of choice 1, end of choice 2. I don't mind this one. Okay, but just don't add space. Okay, don't add space after the else block, because this entire thing, right? This entire thing is belong to one entity. belong to one entity. That's why no need to add space. Or you mean if the menu choice is not within 0, 1, 2, 3, is it? Oh yeah. Okay lah. I think can lah. If you want to perform a validation. If you want to perform validation on that, can also. To set the default. Okay. If what he means, right, if like the menu choice user doesn't input, like example input 4 input 0 okay, then you want to tell the user your input is wrong. Okay, another thing, if you are doing a menu, right, ideally, right, you want to provide a option for users to exit lah, possible lah. So example, press 0 to exit lah. There's one thing I want to mention about this one. Now, if I open my pseudocode, this one is my Java code, this one is my pseudocode. If you are the teacher, are you happy with what I've done here? First thing, you declare the array in here first. If you declare the array in here first, right, you don't go and help me change the position into this section, okay? What you are supposed to do is, you need to follow the, how should I say, follow the order also. If you declare the array in here first, right, then your array is supposedly at the first position also, okay? First position also. That is one thing I want to mention. I hope no more students do this type of mistake. That's first thing. Second thing, if I'm the marker, right, your whole program doesn't have submodule. However, how come your Java code got a submodule one? Where do your submodule come out from? This is even how, no matter how beautiful is your pseudocode, no matter how beautiful is your pseudocode, but your Java code doesn't match your Java code doesn't match your pseudocode, right? You receive a heavy penalty, you know. You receive a very heavy penalty. That's one thing I want to mention. That's a big problem. Okay. I don't know for you. For you, if that works for you, it's okay. For me, is I finish type of Java code, then only I transfer it to my pseudocode. And for some students, right, their for loop, right, they forgot to add this exclusive keyword. They forgot to add this exclusive keyword. You need to be careful. If you are using a less than sign, right? If you are using a less than sign, then is it exclusive or inclusive? Let me ask you. Exclusive. So if I use less than equal, is this exclusive or inclusive? If you use less than equal sign, right, that means it is inclusive. The answer is inclusive. However, for inclusive, right, you don't need to mention about it. Okay, if it's inclusive, you don't need to mention about it. Meaning, right, you don't need to write this lah. Okay, if you didn't write this right, if you didn't write like this wrong, what do we mean? If you didn't write the exclusive, right, you are essentially saying your Java code represent the less than equal. Okay, one thing you need to be careful about your pseudocode. Okay, hope you write it down on your note so you can, before exam or before under assessment, you read back your note, you know it. Okay, and one thing I want to mention about students do mistake is mix more arithmetic. Okay, mix more arithmetic. Example, they count the, where is the average? Example, they count the average, right? After they count the average, I don't know at which position already. If there is summation, right? If there's summation, they go and add the integer like this. Never do this, never do this. This average goal is integer. Example, if you are doing a double, if you want to convert this to double, right? One thing what you need to do is you need to typecast it also. This in this example doesn't make sense because he is not using a double. I am not using a double, I mean. Another second thing, first thing for loop I want to mention already. Second thing, mix more arithmetic. Third thing, meaningful variable names. Up until now, right, there are still students who just name the variables chinchaili. How should I say chinchay in English? Very not meaningful. Okay, they name the variables not meaningful. Don't do this. Okay, your variables need to be meaningful. For this one, I consider this variables is considered meaningful enough. Okay. And fourth thing, okay, some of the code, some of the students didn't, is very lack of comment. If you go and read the code, right, if you read the code written by that students, right, it's too less comment. This one I will still consider this one is okay reasonable. But for some students, you look at the code, right, almost no comment at all. This one thing I want to highlight. Please add comment next time. Okay. Example, if you are performing a average, you want to mention, okay, this is average. I know this sounds ridiculous. Okay. I know this sounds ridiculous, but just write it down, okay? What are you doing? Because you don't want, the examiner will just assume you didn't add any comment, okay? I know it's ridiculous, right? Even it look very simple, but in reality, in real life, no one going to think that much when reading your code. Because reading someone else's code not written by yourself, right? It's a very tired process. If you got chance, you go and read other people's codes, then you will know. And then fourth thing I want to mention, fifth thing, the casing of the variable. Okay, casing of the variables. If you are naming a variables, right, if you are naming a variables, it's a camel case. If it's a constant, all capital letter. And some students do like this. Some students go and put the, how should I say, put the casing P as big letter. This one is Pascal case. Some students go and name like this. Aiya, who teach this? Don't name the variables first character as big letter. If you are naming a variables or your arguments or your function name, right? Always need to name it as camel case, okay? Always need to name it as camel case. What do camel case mean is, first word is small letter, and then followed by second word is, example, second word is the capital letter for the character, okay? This is the fifth thing I want to mention. Casing is very important. If you do the casing improperly, you directly get deduct. I'm not joking, okay? I'm really not joking. When you receive your marking, right? When you receive your marking, you get it back, then you will know. If you didn't follow the naming, you know I'm telling the truth or not. Don't do this type of mistake again, okay? 16 global variable, okay? Global variable. Don't use any global variable. Constant is not a global variable. Constant is constant. If you are declaring a constant, right? Add a comment, you are declaring a constant. So the marker didn't accidentally assume you are doing a global variables, okay? By the way, for those who just log in, right? Please mute your mic, and also, okay, mute already. And also, if my voice is too low, you can adjust my volume, just right click and then adjust it. Okay, the seventh thing I want to mention, no submodule, okay? Some students didn't do submodules. You need to break your tiny program, okay? Break it to a submodule. Your main should be as clean as possible, okay? As clean as possible. If the examiner is interested in your code, only then he go and read your submodule. That's one thing I want to mention. If you write everything inside the main, right? If I'm the examiner, when the code is too long, right? I'm not interested to read it anymore. Just for example. If the code is too long, you can see 200 lines. I don't have the mood to read it anymore. That's why you need to group everything to a submodule in the main. Okay, I know it's a very tedious process, but I think it will be very rewarding. Rewarding in terms of like next time when you read back your code, you also become more easier to identify what you have written also, okay? And the add thing I want to mention, your pseudocode need to match your Java code. If you declare your array first, right? And then your pseudocode also need to declare this array first, okay? Don't go and jumble out the order, don't jumble out the order, okay? And then the add thing, I think the ninth thing already. Ninth thing, right? If you are doing a constant, right? All need to be capital letter. If you have two words, separate it with your underscore, okay? Separate it with your underscore, okay? 10th thing, your main need to be as clean as possible. That's why I mentioned just now, okay? 11th thing, some students, right, doing a if comparison, if don't do like this, if less than 0 equal true, some students do like this. You don't need this equal true, okay? Don't do like this, okay? Don't do like this. You just have to make a comparison like this. Or sometimes when we are writing a code, right? You are checking, say example only. So if this is a boolean variable, right? You don't need to do this, You don't need to do this. If boolean variable equal true, right? You don't need remove this section, okay? Remove this section. Just do like this. This is the proper way to check. If this is true, then only enter here, okay? And also, you don't need to do like this. No need. How do you do that? You ask me, how do you do that? I can tell you. You add a not equal sign, okay? Negation sign. This is the negation, okay? The exclamation mark. You add the negation mark, boolean variable like this, okay? This is the proper way to write, okay? I hope you write it down so you don't repeat this mistake.